Diane Miller yawned as she stared at her computer screen. Another late night at the NASA observatory was nothing new. She reached for her coffee mug, only to find it empty. As she was about to stand up, something on her monitor caught her eye. A cluster of objects moving at impossible speeds toward Earth. "That can't be right," she muttered. Adjusting her glasses, she ran the calculations again. The objects were still there, still coming. The next morning, Diane burst into her colleague Peter Clark's office. "You need to see this data," she said, dropping a folder on his desk. Peter sighed and flipped through the pages. "Probably just equipment malfunction," he said with a dismissive wave. "I checked everything 3 times, Diane insisted. "Something is heading toward Earth, and it's not following the laws of physics as we understand them." Peter was about to argue when his phone rang. His expression changed as he listened. "Multiple agencies are reporting the same thing," he said after hanging up. "Whatever you found, it's real." Across the galaxy, aboard the Galactic Council's flagship, Zix Val prepared his report. The tall, blue-skinned diplomat adjusted his ceremonial robes as holographic displays showed images of Earth. "The humans are clearly aggressive expansionists," he told the council members. "Their broadcasts show constant warfare, invasion scenarios, and conquest of other worlds." An elder council member leaned forward. "Are you certain these are not merely entertainment?" Zix Val scoffed. "Why would any species create entertainment about such horrific acts?" "No, these are clearly their historical records and strategic plans. Earth must be contained before their technology allows them to leave their solar system." The council voted. A small fleet would be sent to Earth with containment protocols. Show strength, demand submission, prevent expansion. Standard procedure for potentially dangerous species. 3 days later, strange ships appeared in Earth's orbit. Governments worldwide scrambled to respond. Military forces went on high alert. News channels showed nothing but the alien vessels hovering silently above the planet. Navy Lieutenant Greg Summers was on leave in his hometown of Seaside, Oregon, when he saw the ships in the sky. His phone buzzed with emergency alerts, but before he could read them, a blinding light flashed over the ocean. The ground shook. Windows shattered. A wall of water rose from where the light had struck the sea. Greg ran toward higher ground, helping an elderly couple along the way. Behind them, the tsunami crashed into the small coastal town, washing away homes and streets. "It was supposed to be uninhabited," said Junior Commander Teklar aboard the Council flagship. "The energy pulse was meant as a demonstration only." Zix Val frowned at the data. "A minor miscalculation. The humans will now understand our power and submit to containment." But on Earth, the response was anything but submission. Emergency meetings convened at the United Nations. Military forces worldwide prepared for defense, and in a hastily assembled lab, Diane Miller was recruited to analyze the alien technology. "We detected patterns in their transmissions," she told the room full of scientists and military personnel. "They're trying to communicate, but on frequencies we don't typically monitor." In Washington, Greg Summers reported to a secret facility. His experience with the attack made him valuable. He was assigned to a special operations team led by Commander Olivia Wright, a stern woman with more combat experience than anyone in the room. "We need to understand what we're facing," Olivia said, pacing in front of her new team, "and why they attacked without warning." Meanwhile, Engineer Kate Brown hunched over equipment salvaged from debris that had fallen after the attack. "These components don't make sense," she said to Diane, who had been paired with her. "It's like they're built on entirely different principles." Across the globe, humans prepared for war while trying to understand their enemy. In orbit, the Council fleet prepared for a second, larger demonstration. "They are mobilizing their weapons," Zix Val noted. "As expected of an aggressive species. Commence the second containment strike," he ordered. "This time, they will learn their place in the galaxy." What the Council didn't know was that humanity had never been good at learning its place, and they were about to find out why invading Earth was the biggest mistake they could have made. The second attack hit Chicago. A beam of energy sliced through the air and struck Lake Michigan, sending steam high into the sky and massive waves crashing into the city. Thousands died in minutes. World leaders gathered at the United Nations in an emergency session while screens showed the destruction. The Secretary General's face was grim as she addressed the room. "We are under attack by an unknown alien force. They have not responded to any attempts at communication. We must stand together if humanity is to survive." Countries that had been enemies for decades now shared military intelligence. Scientists from rival nations worked side by side. Humanity began to unite against the common threat. At the secret facility, now called Eagle Base, Greg Summers trained with his team. They practiced with new weapons designed based on fallen alien technology. Commander Olivia Wright pushed them harder each day. Again, she ordered after Greg missed a target. "If we get one chance at these aliens, we can't afford to miss." Greg wiped sweat from his forehead. "Yes, Commander." He raised his weapon and fired again. This time, the energy pulse hit dead center. In the lab section of Eagle Base, Diane Miller and Kate Brown worked around the clock. Kate had built a device that could detect the aliens' communications. "Look at this pattern," Diane said, pointing to her screen. "It repeats every 12 seconds. Kate nodded. "If it's a language, it might be using a mathematical base. Let me try something." Her fingers flew across her keyboard. "What if we respond using the same pattern but slightly altered?" They sent their message toward the alien fleet. Hours passed with no response. On the Council flagship, an analyst reported unusual signals coming from Earth. "They are attempting to communicate," he told Zixval. The diplomat frowned. "Ignore it. This is likely a distraction while they prepare weapons. Our intelligence shows they are masters of deception." Zixval did not see junior council member Rilfar watching with concern. Rilfar belonged to the Archean species, known for their careful study of other cultures. He had questioned the invasion from the start. When no one was looking, Rilfar copied the human transmission data and took it to his private quarters for analysis. Back on Earth, military forces worldwide prepared for defense. Old fighter jets were fitted with experimental weapons. Soldiers carried energy rifles that worked on principles discovered from alien debris. The aliens launched their third attack, targeting military bases across the globe. But this time, Earth was ready. Fighter jets rose to meet the alien ships. Energy weapons fired from ground installations. The aliens had expected easy targets, but found fierce resistance instead. An alien scout ship, damaged in the battle, crashed in a field near Eagle Base. Greg's team was sent to secure it. "Approach with caution," Olivia said through the radio as their helicopter landed near the smoking wreckage. "We don't know if any crew survived." Greg led his team forward, weapons ready. The ship's hull had cracked open, revealing strange technology inside. But no aliens. "Commander, the ship appears empty," Greg reported. "Request permission to enter and secure any technology." "Granted," Olivia replied. "But be careful. This could be our chance to learn about their systems." Inside the ship, Greg found what looked like a control panel. He took pictures to send back to the scientists. Meanwhile, Diane and Kate received the images and began analyzing them immediately. "These symbols match the communication patterns we detected," Diane said excitedly. "I think we might be able to understand their language." Kate nodded. "And if we understand their language, we might be able to talk to them," Diane finished. "Maybe even end this before more people die." On the Council flagship, Rilfar came to a disturbing conclusion after studying the human transmissions. "They're trying to communicate, not threaten," he whispered to himself. "We've made a terrible mistake." The question was, could he convince the Council before it was too late? Rilfar paced in his quarters, torn between loyalty to the Council and what he knew was right. The data was clear. Humans were trying to communicate, not threaten. He made his decision, and sent a private message to a small group of like-minded council members. "We must establish peaceful contact before this escalates further," he wrote. On Earth, Kate had a breakthrough with the alien technology. Using parts from a crashed scout ship, she built a device that could send messages the aliens would understand. "It's ready," she told Diane. "But what should we say?" Diane thought for a moment. "Something simple. We want peace. Why are you attacking us?" Kate programmed the message and sent it toward the alien fleet. This time, they got a response. A small ship broke away from the main fleet and headed toward Earth. Military commanders wanted to shoot it down, but Diane convinced them to wait. "This could be our chance for real contact," she argued. The ship landed in a field near Eagle Base. Greg and his team surrounded it, weapons ready. The door opened slowly. A tall, blue-skinned alien emerged with hands raised, a universal sign of peace. It was Rilfar. "I come alone," he said through a translation device. "To talk." Commander Olivia arrived and ordered her team to keep their weapons raised. "Why should we trust you after your attacks?" she asked. "Not my attacks," Rilfar replied. "I believe a mistake has been made. I wish to understand your species better." They brought Rilfar to a secure room at Eagle Base. Diane and Kate joined Olivia for the meeting. "Why did you attack Earth?" Olivia demanded. Rilfar's translator converted his clicks and whistles into English. "The Council believe your species to be dangerous expansionists based on your broadcasts." "Broadcasts?" Diane asked. "You mean our TV shows and movies?" "Yes," Rilfar replied. "The Council interpreted them as records of real events and plans for conquest." Kate's eyes widened. "You thought our science fiction was real." Before Rilfar could answer, alarms blared. A soldier burst into the room. "More alien ships approaching," he shouted. "They're heading straight for us." Olivia stood. "They must have tracked Rilfar's ship. We need to evacuate." "No," Rilfar said urgently. "Those are hardliners sent to stop me. They will destroy this entire area." Greg rushed in. "Commander, we have 5 minutes at most before they arrive." Olivia made a quick decision. "Greg, get our guest to the underground bunker. Diane, Kate, grab any research you can't lose. Everyone else, battle stations." As they ran through corridors, explosions shook the building. Part of the roof collapsed, blocking their path to the bunker. "This way," Greg said, leading them down another hallway. "There's a maintenance tunnel." They reached the tunnel just as more explosions rocked the base. Rilfar helped Greg move a fallen beam that blocked their path. "Why are you helping us?" Greg asked as they crawled through the tight space. "Because the Council is wrong about humans," Rilfar replied. "You are not the monsters we believed you to be." They emerged outside the base perimeter just as alien ships destroyed what remained of Eagle Base. In the distance, human fighter jets engaged the alien attackers. "We need to reach the secondary base," Olivia said. "It's 50 miles north." "I can help," Rilfar offered. "My people have technology that can shield us from detection." Diane studied the alien. "Why would you betray your own kind?" "I'm not betraying them," Rilfar answered. "I'm trying to save them. The Council doesn't understand what they've started. Humans are unlike any species we've encountered." "What do you mean?" Kate asked. "Most species in the galaxy evolved through cooperation," Rilfar explained. "But you evolved through competition. It makes you adaptable, resourceful, and dangerous when threatened." Greg checked his weapon. "You have no idea." As they moved through the forest, Olivia made a call to command. "This is Commander Wright. Eagle Base is down, but we have a new asset, an alien defector with critical intelligence." The voice on the other end was skeptical. "Can we trust it?" Olivia looked at Rilfar, who was helping Diane over a fallen tree. "I think we can. And right now, we need all the help we can get." The secondary base, codenamed Falcon Nest, was hidden underground beneath an old farm. Guards with advanced weapons escorted Greg, Olivia, Diane, Kate, and Rilfar inside. General Frank Harris, a stern man with gray hair, waited for them in the command center. His eyes narrowed when he saw Rilfar. "You brought one of them here?" he asked Olivia. "Sir, he saved our lives," Olivia replied, "and he has crucial information." The general nodded reluctantly. "Talk," he said to Rilfar. Rilfar stepped forward. "The Galactic Council believes humans are dangerous based on broadcasts they intercepted from your planet." "What broadcasts?" asked the general. "Movies, TV shows, video games," Diane explained. "They thought our fiction was real." Rilfar continued. "The Council saw stories of humans conquering aliens and assumed these were your actual plans." Kate laughed despite the tension. "They watched Independence Day and thought it was a documentary." "Precisely," said Rilfar. "Council analysts have no concept of fiction. In their cultures, why would anyone create stories about things that never happened?" The general's face showed disbelief. "So this whole war started because aliens can't tell the difference between movies and reality." "There's more," Rilfar added. "The Council has never encountered a species that evolved through competition rather than cooperation. Your adaptability in battle has shocked them. The Council expected you to surrender after the first attack." Screens around the room showed battles raging worldwide. Human forces were holding their own against superior alien technology. "We need to communicate with the entire Council," Diane suggested. "Show them their mistake." "Impossible," Rilfar said. "Zixval controls all communications. He would block any message that contradicts his views." Just then, alarms blared. A technician turned to the general. "Sir, we're detecting a massive fleet entering our solar system, much larger than the first wave." Rilfar's eyes widened. "The main invasion force. We have 3 Earth days at most before they arrive." The general stood straighter. "Then we need a plan. Fast." Later, in the lab section of Falcon Nest, Kate worked with Rilfar to build a more powerful communication device, while Diane analyzed the alien language patterns. "If we could access the Council's central network," Rilfar said, "we could broadcast the truth to all Council species at once." "How?" Kate asked. "We would need to board the command ship and reach their communication hub." Greg and Olivia joined them, having overheard. "A strike team," Greg said. "We could use the scout ship technology to disguise one of our aircraft." Olivia nodded. "It's risky, but it might be our only chance." While they planned, another alien ship entered Earth's atmosphere. Unlike the others, this one evaded detection until it was directly over Falcon Nest. Guards aimed their weapons at the ceiling as dust fell from small explosions above. "They found us," someone shouted. But Rilfar looked at his personal device. "No, this is different. It's Eklorn." "Who?" Greg asked, raising his weapon. "A Council researcher," Rilfar explained. "One who questioned the invasion from the start." A section of ceiling collapsed, and a rope ladder dropped down. A slender, green-skinned alien climbed down quickly. "Rilfar," she said urgently. "The Council debates while Zixval prepares genocide. I brought what you requested." She handed Rilfar a small crystal. His eyes widened. "The access codes to the Council network." Eklorn turned to the humans. "Your species has been gravely wronged." Several Council members now question the invasion, but Zixval pushes forward. The general stepped forward. "Why should we trust you?" "Because," Eklorn replied, "unlike most Council species, I study human broadcasts thoroughly. I recognize fiction when I see it. Your Star Trek shows a future of peaceful cooperation that many species would admire, not fear." Diane smiled slightly. "So our science fiction might save us after all." "Perhaps," Eklorn said. "But first, we must stop the invasion fleet. And time is running out." 2 days later, a modified human spacecraft rose from a hidden launch site in the Nevada desert. The ship looked strange, part Earth technology and part alien. Greg, Olivia, and a team of 6 soldiers were inside, along with Rilfar and Eklorn. Cloaking field active, Eklorn said, pressing symbols on a control panel. The Council ships should see us as debris, not a vessel. Greg looked out the window as Earth grew smaller behind them. I never thought my first trip to space would be to invade an alien fleet. Not invade, Rilfar corrected. Infiltrate. If we can reach the communication hub, we might prevent a war that would cost billions of lives. The plan was risky. They would dock with the Council command ship by pretending to be a maintenance vessel. Once aboard, they would fight their way to the communication hub and broadcast the truth to all Council species. Back on Earth, Kate and Diane worked with military technicians to prepare the message they would send. It needs to be clear and simple, Diane said. Something that shows the Council their mistake without making them lose face completely. Kate nodded. And we need visuals. Show them the difference between our fiction and reality. As they worked, screens around them showed the massive Council fleet moving into position around Earth. Thousands of ships, far more than humans could fight, even with the new weapons they had developed. The modified spacecraft approached the Council command ship, a massive vessel shaped like a silver crescent. Incoming transmission, Eklorn warned. They're asking for identification. Rilfar responded in the Council language, using codes Eklorn had provided. They waited nervously. Docking permission granted. Eklorn finally said, "They believe we're bringing replacement parts." The ship attached to a small docking bay. Greg checked his weapon, a hybrid design combining human ingenuity with alien technology. "Remember," Olivia told her team, "we need to reach the communication hub with minimal conflict. We're not here for revenge." They moved through the alien corridors, with Rilfar and Eklorn guiding them. Twice they had to hide from patrols. Once, they had to stun 2 Council security officers who spotted them. "The hub is 1 level up," Rilfar whispered as they reached a junction. Suddenly, alarms blared. A voice spoke in the Council language. "They found the guards," Eklorn translated. "The ship is on lockdown." "Run," Olivia ordered. They sprinted through corridors as security doors began to close around them. Greg slid under one door just before it sealed, separating him from the others. "Greg," Olivia called through the door. "Keep going," he shouted back. "I'll find another way." Greg found himself alone in an unfamiliar section of the ship. He heard footsteps approaching and ducked into a small room. Inside, screens showed Earth from multiple angles. One screen displayed a countdown timer. With shock, Greg realized he was in a weapons control room. The countdown showed less than 30 minutes until a massive attack would begin. Meanwhile, Olivia led the rest of the team through service tunnels Eklorn knew about. They reached the communication hub, but guards were posted at the entrance. "We need a distraction," Olivia whispered. Back in the weapons room, Greg studied the controls. He couldn't read the alien language, but he recognized countdown timers from his military training. If he could delay the attack, he began pressing buttons randomly. Alarms sounded immediately. Guards ran past the door, heading toward another section of the ship. Using the distraction, Olivia and her team overpowered the guards at the communication hub. They rushed inside, securing the room. "Seal the doors," Olivia ordered as Rilfar and Eklorn moved to the main console. "We have perhaps 5 minutes before they override the locks," Rilfar said as he worked quickly. "The channel is open," Eklorn announced, "broadcasting to all Council species now." On the main screen, Kate and Diane appeared, ready to show the galaxy the truth about humanity. The fate of Earth depended on whether the Council would listen. Diane took a deep breath as the camera focused on her. The fate of Earth rested on what she would say next. "Members of the Galactic Council," she began, "we are humans from Earth. We have only recently learned why you attacked our world, and we need to correct a serious misunderstanding." Kate clicked a button, and the screen split to show movie scenes next to actual Earth news footage. "What you see on the left are stories, fiction, that we create for entertainment. They are not real. They are not our history or our plans. The footage on the right shows our actual world. Throughout the Council fleet, alien species watched with growing confusion and alarm. Many had never questioned the invasion orders. Now, doubt spread like wildfire. On the command ship, HFY stormed toward the communication hub, flanked by armed guards. "Cut the transmission immediately," he shouted. But across the fleet, Council members began sending messages questioning the invasion. Screens throughout the ships showed the comparison between human fiction and reality. In the weapons control room, Greg heard banging on the door. Guards were trying to break in. He frantically studied the control panel, looking for any way to stop the countdown. A small alien appeared from behind a console. Greg raised his weapon, but the alien made a peaceful gesture. "I am Virtok, weapons technician," he said in broken English. "I hear broadcast. I help." The alien pressed a series of buttons, and the countdown paused at 7 minutes. "Cannot stop," Virtok explained. "Only delay. Need command override." The door began to buckle under the force of the guards outside. Back in the communication hub, Olivia received an urgent message from Greg explaining the situation. "We need a command override for the weapons system," she told Rilfar, "or Earth is doomed in less than 10 minutes. Rilfar looked grim. "Only HFY, or the full council, can issue that override." On the screen, Diane continued her appeal. "Humans create fiction because we imagine different possibilities, both good and bad. Our stories don't show what we want to happen, but what we hope to avoid or what we dream of becoming." Kate added, "We have stories about peaceful contact with aliens. We have dreams of joining a galactic community. We never wanted war." Outside the communication hub, HFY and his guards prepared to break down the door, but they paused when a new voice came over the ship's speakers. "This is High Elder Kormal of the Galactic Council," the voice announced. "I have heard enough. The invasion of Earth was based on a fundamental misunderstanding." HFY's face showed shock. "High Elder, these humans are deceptive. You cannot." "Silence, HFY," the High Elder interrupted. "Multiple species have confirmed the humans' claims. Your eagerness for this conflict raises questions about your motives." Another council member appeared on the screen. "We have discovered HFY has financial interests in weapons manufacturing. He stood to profit greatly from this war." Throughout the fleet, commanders received new orders. "Stand down." HFY, seeing his plans collapse, fled toward his private shuttle, but he found Eklorn waiting for him. "The weapons system is still counting down," she said. "Give us the override code." "Never," HFY snarled. "If I cannot have victory, the humans will still pay." Greg and Virtok worked desperately in the weapons room as the countdown resumed, now at 3 minutes. Guards had broken through one layer of the door. "Can you reroute the targeting system?" Greg asked. Virtok nodded and crawled under the console. "Maybe. Need time." The door burst open. Greg fired his weapon, forcing the guards back, but he was outnumbered. Then Olivia's voice came over his radio. "Greg, we've got a council shuttle approaching Earth with Rilfar and council representatives aboard. They're going to attempt emergency diplomatic contact." "That's great," Greg replied, firing again at the doorway. "But we've got less than 2 minutes before this weapon fires at Earth." "Hold on," Olivia said. "Help is coming." The countdown reached 1 minute. Greg prepared for his final stand as more guards poured in. Suddenly, the lights in the room flashed. The countdown froze, then disappeared from the screen. "Override accepted," said a computerized voice. Greg turned to see High Elder Kormal standing in the doorway, surrounded by council security forces who were arresting the other guards. "It seems," said the High Elder, "we have much to learn about humans and their imagination." 6 months later, Diane Miller adjusted her formal suit as she prepared to address the reformed Galactic Council. The massive chamber held representatives from over 200 alien species. At the center sat High Elder Kormal, whose quick action had saved Earth from destruction. Greg and Olivia stood nearby in special dress uniforms created for Earth's new interstellar defense force. Kate waited with them, nervously checking her translation device one last time. "I never thought we'd be here," Greg whispered, standing in a room full of aliens as allies instead of enemies. "Humans adapt quickly," Rilfar said, joining them. He now served as Earth's official guide to galactic politics. "That's what saved your world." The chamber quieted as Diane stepped to the podium. Screens around the room translated her words into various alien languages. "Esteemed members of the Galactic Council," she began. "6 months ago, our world stood on the brink of a devastating war based on a simple misunderstanding. Today, we gather as partners in peace." Across Earth, humans watched the broadcast with a mixture of awe and pride. Cities damaged in the brief war were being rebuilt with alien technology. In return, Earth shared something equally valuable: human creativity. The concept of fiction, creating stories about things that never happened, has spread through council space. Diane continued. "Many species now enjoy human entertainment, properly labeled as imaginary." Laughter rippled through the chamber. Several alien representatives had become fans of human movies and books. "But we have learned from you as well," Diane said. "Your technologies have helped us heal our planet's environment. Your medical knowledge has cured diseases we thought impossible to treat." In the audience, Kate smiled. She now led a team of scientists working with alien engineers to develop new technologies that combine the best of both worlds. Together, Diane concluded, we face the future not as enemies, but as friends with different strengths. The chamber erupted in applause, or whatever passed for applause among species with tentacles or wings instead of hands. After the ceremony, Earth's representatives gathered in a private room with High Elder Quarmal and other council leaders. "There is still the matter of Zixval," the High Elder said. "His trial begins next week. Will he be punished for attacking Earth?" Greg asked. "Most certainly," Quarmal replied, "but more for his corruption than his mistake. Many council members believed his false reports about humans." Olivia, now promoted to admiral, spoke up. "What about the families who lost loved ones in the attacks? Will there be compensation?" "The council has already begun a reparation program," Rilfar explained. "We cannot bring back the dead, but we can help the living." Outside the window, Earth glowed blue and green against the blackness of space. A small fleet of human ships practiced maneuvers alongside council vessels. The first joint patrol would launch next week. 1 month later, Kate stood with Diane on the observation deck of humanity's first colony ship as it approached Mars. The Red Planet would soon host a research base staffed by humans and friendly alien scientists. "Do you ever think about how close we came to extinction?" Kate asked. Diane nodded. "All the time. If we hadn't figured out their mistake, if Gray hadn't found that weapons room, if Rilfar and Eklorn hadn't helped us." "A lot of ifs," Greg said, joining them. "But we made it, and now look at us." He gestured toward the window where Earth was visible in the distance, surrounded by a growing network of space stations. Ships of various designs moved between them, some human, some alien, many a mixture of both. On a hill outside the rebuilt town of Seaside, Oregon, a memorial stood where the first attack had hit. The monument bore names of those lost, but also carried words in both human and council languages. From misunderstanding came conflict. From conflict came understanding. From understanding came peace. May we never forget the cost of the first, nor the value of the last. As the colony ship prepared for landing, humanity took its first real steps into a wider universe, not as conquerors from alien nightmares, but as partners bringing unique perspectives to the galactic community. And throughout council space, a new protocol was added to first contact procedures. Always check if broadcasts are fiction before planning an invasion, especially when dealing with humans.